Hey everybody, good morning. It's about 8:45 in the morning on October the 13th, 2020. I'm here to do my normal usual review of the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. Before I take a look at any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice, not your financial advisor. You are responsible for your own trades, managing your own risks, doing your own research, and this is just my opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chart. All right, so we have a pretty bullish count on the S&P, and we did make an attempt on NASDAQ to do a hedge on that yesterday, which probably will go ahead and close that out here in the morning. And we'll talk about that when we get over there. But right now, taking a look at the S&P, you would expect that after your wave one and wave two, you would expect there to be a pretty bullish move up and out of here. And I mean, this is looking like that's exactly what's happening. I'm actually, I'm not convinced that this is the top of wave five. I don't think that we've actually finished this. We're looking at hedging, but what I'm really looking for is really to load up on the pullback for wave two of this, because the higher this ends up going, the higher our pullback is more than likely going to be. So just as a really great example, on this move up here, we had an expanded flat, which means, excuse me, which means we had our first pullback, and then wave B actually went higher, and then we came down, and we didn't even get to the lows here, which what you would expect to see in a correction, right? So you've got your, your 5 waves up, you would expect to see down, up, not quite as high, and then down a little bit higher. And this is where you look to buy the dip right down here. But what would end up happening is we had an expanded flash. This went up higher, and this didn't quite go as low. It created a nice little channel, and we had 100% equality from wave A and wave C projected from the end of wave B. So that's what we had right here, and that is a sign of strength. So I should have seen a more parabolic move up. The trajectory of this is it's pretty crazy when you take a look at the history of the market. As far as the angle and the geometry goes, back here for instance, we had moves that were pretty well sideways. So this is a good channel right here. This line, we have a tick here, a tick here, a tick here, and then we had support, and then we fell through. All right. If we take this same line, right, we're not going to change it at all. We're just going to move it over, and let's just compare the trajectory of things. All right. So if we take a look and we pull this guy, about right here, you can see where we have, our support, our resistance, our resistance, our resistance. We have some clustering up here, but look at the angle of this. This is not anything that we have seen. So here, just for clarity, look at the angle difference between these. This is a parabolic move, and it's not sustainable. Parabolic moves are not sustainable, and they tend to come down, harder. But we don't have any signs that this parabolic move is complete yet. So we're going to continue to play it, as it comes, and we'll continue to take, well, at least I will continue to take hedges along the way. The account is long, but I'll take these hedges. I did not take one on S&P. We took it basically right at the end of the day yesterday, and I'm going to talk about NASDAQ here in just a moment. But this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm not married to, right? We're still in the middle of the count, and we haven't yet seen that correction. We're trying to guess the tops by taking small hedges, manageable hedges, but I'm not convinced that this is, what we've got going on here. I am convinced that all of this is correct. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So we've got the 1, we've got the 2. We should be working on the 3 now, and wave 3 should be, consisting of its own 5-wave structure, right? So we've got this 1, come back here for the 2, wherever this comes back. We're going to have to wait until we see a pivot, right? We need to continue to see, even on hourly time frames, lower lows, lower highs. So we're kind of seeing that, but we still have to take out this low back here at 35. we've got to break 3,500 for this to continue to look as if we have created a little bit of a top here. And note, I said a little bit of a top. We're still interested in buying pullbacks. So wherever this guy finally decides he wants to top out, because this could just be wave 4, right? So wave 3 could be up here. Wave 1 could be all the way up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we go up for 5. Maybe this stops at almost 3,600. One way or another, I do believe this guy is going to pull back a ways. I think it's going to pull back a ways. Don't know where it's going to finally land, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. You know, I'm interested up here in this 36.65 to 36.90. We'll call it 3700 for good measure, but you know, our 175 is sitting up there. What we're doing with this, we're measuring from the bottom, and then we're measuring up to wave 1, pulled back to wave 2 on the expanded flat, and then we have our 1618 to 175. If you haven't seen my Algo City video, I suggest you take a look at it. I talk about the importance of that 1618 to 175. Wave 3 almost always hits up there. We may extend beyond that based on, again, the parabola that we've got here, this parabolic move that we are currently in the middle of. We are expecting a pullback any time now, but I think we're going to get a continuation. We probably will make an all-time high. Something that you're going to see a lot of people discussing here in the, you know, I'm surprised they're actually not talking about it now. Let me see if I can remove this guy. There we go. What you're going to see a lot of people talking about is this right here. So we've got from up here, we're going to move ourselves over to the right, about right there, and then this right here. You're going to see people talking about this. And on a cup and handle, let's just talk about how we can validate a cup and handle. Cup and handle usually has a pullback that will be usually between 382 and the 50. All right, so that would, you know, if we do have the 5 that does end up here, right? So if this does happen, let's say this is the 3, this is the 4, which means we've got potentially the 1 right here, and then we've got the 2 right here. This still works. All right, so if this is the 3, this is the 4, and we do go up for the 5 here at almost 3,600, we should still expect a pullback to 34.35, all the way potentially even back down to 33.90. Okay, we're still looking for a pullback down here into this red zone. And actually, I'm going to change the color of this red zone because now this is going to be our buy zone. This is where we're interested in buying again once we do make a pullback. So this is looking for our buy zone. This is going to be my next area that I'm going to attempt to hedge, right? So we attempted to hedge over here. We got out of it early, right? We got out of it right before, at least I did. I got out of it right before it fell. But this zone was perfect for a hedge. Okay, now we're pushing up. We attempted to hedge here. We're not getting that same pullback, although the price action does look very similar here than it did right here. So it would not surprise me one bit for us to make one final move up before we see this bigger pullback. We're looking for the pullback. And then we go up for 3, 4, 5, which, you know, if this is the case, right, if we do make our way up here, I would really expect there to be some resistance here at 36.90, right? You can see the negative 236 extension up there. If we do make our way up here and we get the rejection, that's going to be likely the you know, the end of a wave structure, and probably are going to get some resistance there. That's why I will be looking to hedge there as well. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Okay, so NASDAQ, you know, we were talking, and we have been talking about this level for weeks, probably all the way back here in September, right? Late September, we've been talking about this. At least a week and a half, we've been talking about 12,150 to 12,200. There should be some resistance at 12,150 to 12,200. So we attempted to hedge right back here, right? So again, it was at the end of the day. We attempted this hedge. We had a little bit of an ABC correction, but obviously it went higher, right? Still have not been able to close an hourly above this. This is all futures movements, right? We still have 37 minutes before the trading session starts. You know, if we happen to open our intraday session below this block, I may actually consider keeping my hedge open. Of course, right now it's in the red. That's okay. That's okay. It's a hedge, right? I should be more long than I am short, right? It's just trying to mitigate losses. That's all we're trying to do with the hedge here. So looking at this as a 1, 2, 1, 2, again, we should be working on a 3. So a nice 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe this is the 5. Maybe this is done. In which case we would expect again to come back down here, wave 2 at the 50. Maybe we come back to the 382 if it's super strong. I tend to believe we're probably going to come back down here to maybe 11,650 if and when this happens. Now, we need to see a steep sell-off in order for this geometry to make sense. Again, talking about the parabola, this looks pretty parabolic. We would need to see a pretty steep fall off once we break the parabola. I can see this happening, just staying in line with this channel. And again, you can see I have some expansion channels here, but this one is the one that I am focused on the most, right? Our median seems to look good. We've got good confluence here. We had some grinding there before we pushed up. We have some support here and then the resistance up here. This is one of the main reasons why we took this hedge short, because we were kind of seeing some rejection here at the top of this channel. It would not surprise me one bit for us to come down here to at least the median, but I really want to see us come back down here to test the bottom of the channel, although this could take a while and we could stop here at maybe 11,779 or so. One way or another, hedging up here, I'm going to hold it for a little while, see how it goes. Of course, if you're on the Discord, I'll let you know when I cut that hedge. But this is looking good. We're in lots of good plays, right? So just to, if you're a new viewer, right, we're talking about Apple. We've been in Apple for a while. We attempted to buy back here and it fell down here to the 618. We bought back again and we're tracking this trade. This trade is doing fantastic. Fantastic. Microsoft. I know some of you are still in Microsoft. This trade, we bought this pullback here. This is doing really, really good. We bought Netflix, right? So I'm just saying this because these are trades that we are currently actively managing. I think Netflix is getting closer to a pullback, but our upside target for Netflix is going to be closer to $650, right? So we're still plenty long. We're still making plenty of money on the upside moves, and the hedges that we're taking are simply that. They're just hedges. They're not the main play. They're just trying to make a little bit of money if we do get some drawdown. Try to manage any potential losses that we have on any pullbacks. But we don't want to exit these positions because these are fantastic entries that we've got on these stocks. And so these are 3 of them. We took some good plays on Microsoft options. We pulled 70% off of those. So we're plenty long. We're plenty long. So these hedges, they're not options plays by any means, right? I don't like to play options on hedges, especially when the move is so strong to the upside, because you're just going to lose all your money, right? Okay, so let's now take a look at Bitcoin. All right, so Bitcoin had a little bit of a spike up. We went all the way up to the top of the channel. Okay, so this seems to be good for potential top there at 10,773. So I'm interested in shorting Bitcoin up here. Stop loss on Bitcoin right now is going to be right here at the top. So let's just show, if you were to get this entry right here, it's not optimal, right? I would be more interested in buying a spike up, right? So trying to get in 11.6 or so, because your stop loss is going to be right there. So it's about a 1.3% stop loss. If you're using any amount of leverage, that's going to magnify your it's going to magnify your losses if you do get stopped out. So that's 1.3%. But if you're in from right here, that's even worse, because then your stop loss is now sitting at 2.33%. So even if you're using a conservative 3x leverage, that is 7% loss right there. So that's a pretty big deal. I'd be looking to get in on a little bit of a spike up if it were me. But based on this, if this is a 1, 2, 3, 3 would be right here, because you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 into this 3. we should be getting a little bit of a pullback based on this. And looking at the channel looks okay. We should be getting a pullback, probably back down here to 11, 193, 11.2, kind of back to where we bottomed out. What was this, yesterday? The days just kind of flow together now. So yesterday at about 4 o'clock in the morning, we had a little bit of a drop and then a spike up. And then now we're kind of heading back down for a little bit of a correction. So, potentially you want to take, an entry short up here. Keep a tight stop loss. I'm not telling you what to do. This is just my opinion that we're probably going to fall out of this channel. Okay, so you've got a touch here, and then up to the upside, you've got a couple touches up here, and then you've got this touch up here. This seems like the best place to manage your risk. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to go short, this is the best place to do a stop loss. Manage your risk up here at 11,730 or so. That's going to be kind of where I'm looking right now. I'm still not quite sure if this is a truncated fifth. If it is, we're going to fly through that and move up higher to where where our real target is, which is sitting up at 15, 16, 17,000, right? But for right now, I think more than likely we are going to kind of fall back down at least to this lower, but eventually we're probably going to fall out of this. Again, I'm not sure if this is an A, B, C. Let me pull up my BitMEX chart because I have my bearish view on the BitMEX chart over here, looking for this move down. So I have two different sets of eyes on this. For a move potentially back down here to about 92, 9300. That's going to be potentially where we're going to go. So you're probably asking yourself, well, why are you saying that when you said before that if we break 9800 that we're going to go to 6400? I only say that because of how high we have gone. We're getting close to the 786 here. I tend to believe that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is more than likely completed. Therefore, I think we come back down here to the negative 236 extension, which is going to be right down here in our green zone, which this line at 93.57 has been here for a while, and it is based off of all of this clustering over here. So I do think that it's possible that we do make our way down there, in which case I will be interested in buying, but I am very interested in shorting up here in this area. It seems like the best area to be to be looking for a short. Therefore, I am interested in shorting up here. I do want to check and see where this, let's see here, so that's going to be negative, is that negative 1.5, negative 0.5? I need to get the median on the upper expansion. All right, that's negative 0.5. There it is. Okay, so the median up here, it's still possible for us to make our way up here. Again, it could take some time to get up here. Bitcoin does like to have good geometry on its structure, but I don't know if it's going to make it out quite that far. So I'm going to kind of stick with the idea that we have topped out at least for now, and managing your risk, of course, at 11,730 in that area, like I was mentioning, because potentially if this bear case does hold true, this could come all the way back down again to 92 to 9300, right? So it's very possible this makes its way down here. And of course, we've been keeping an eye on the Discord. We've been talking about open interest. Open interest on BitMEX is at like 400 million, right? So let me just go ahead and just get these numbers for you right now. Open interest on Bitcoin is sitting at 408, almost 409 million. Now, that's important because on this move up right here, we were sitting at about 450 million open interest right here. On this move up, it went down to below 400 million. Okay, so that obviously was a short squeeze. We had a nice sustained move up. We went down to under 400 million open interest. And then on this move down, open interest was moving up slightly, went up to about 420, 425 million. This move up, it came all the way back down to about 402, and now sitting at 408. People are still trying to short this, but eventually more and more people are going to be trying to long, and that is when the pivot is going to be a violent move to the downside. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being bullish. When we're talking about the stock market, I am super bullish right now. When we're talking about Bitcoin, I do have to be long-term bullish, but Bitcoin tends to mess with people's minds way more than the stock market does, or at least it seems to. So right now, psychology is going to get people going long, and maybe we're not quite there yet. Maybe this will get stopped out, but at some point, people are going to just be extremely bullish, and that is when we're really going to be taken by surprise, and distribution is going to come in full force, and we're going to have a steep drop like we had back here. Okay, so we had a clear, markup phase right here. Let me fix this. Okay, this was a clear markup phase right here. And then what did we have? We had clear distribution right here. And then what did we have after distribution was complete? We had a markdown phase. Okay? And then the question is, all right, well, is this reaccumulation right here? Very possible that it was, especially down here at the bottom, reaccumulation. Eventually, we're going to get back to another distribution phase. So, how high do we go for a distribution phase? It would not surprise me one bit to see distribution up here after this markup phase, right? So a smaller markup for a smaller distribution, okay? So if we just continue grinding sideways here, then I'm going to be more and more interested in seeing this as a distribution, and then what we'll see from there is our steep mark down after distribution is complete. Okay, so yeah, we'll have to wait and see, right? So this is a lot of speculation that we're just going to see something like this before we finally do see that final move down, right? But right after the election, I can see things kind of dropping off because everybody's talking about the election. This is going to be my last comment here. Everybody's talking about the election. People are pricing in a Biden win. I mean, it is what it is. The market's just moving up, and so you just take it because the market's moving up. If we do start moving sideways and we stay sideways for the better part of the next week or week and a half, we're going to go down. If we just move sideways and things get boring up here, we're going to fall because more than likely there's going to be some distribution happening. Accumulation happened, around $10,000. Lots of noise here in the chart back here on September 3rd through September 7th. That was a month and a week ago. That was a long time ago in terms of crypto. So this markup right here likely should mark the end of this move, and we should see a move back down further. So I'm interested in going short up here, and I cashed out of my my spot holdings. Made a decent amount on my spot on the way up. I longed Ethereum at about 330, somewhere in that range, and it didn't happen fast enough for me, so I got out of that Ethereum trade, which I'm really bummed out about because that was good. That was a really great trade. That was a great trade. So let's not get caught up in what we've got on the chart there. But yeah, right down here, we were talking about buying. It was right here around 333, 333, 334. I'm super bummed that I missed out on that move on a long position on Ethereum because that would have been fantastic. But obviously it didn't happen. I mean, at least for me it didn't, but that's okay. It's all right. You win some, you lose some. This would have been a really great play. Yeah, I mean, watching this happen and watch this play out, going from the top here to the bottom, it's like, man, we are at the 618. You've got to buy this. I was like, you got to smash the buy on a smash market buy on Ethereum. And I hope some of you guys stayed in that trade because that was fantastic. I did not stay in that trade, and I'm okay to admit that. But that trade, you should probably close out of that trade. Probably should have closed it out at about 394, but that's okay because that was our expansion target up here based on this move. But nonetheless, that worked out. Came back to the median, moved its way up here to the top. So our target up here, that was, man, I'm still bummed out about that, but that's okay. All right, so again, I don't see any questions on the YouTube chat. I don't see um, any symbols to take a look at. So I'm going to go ahead and end this segment this morning. Hopefully this helped you guys in some way, shape, or form. But you know, if it did, like, subscribe, share. And if you want access to our Discord, if you don't have access to the Discord, you know, we're a good group of people and we'd like to have you in there. But just throw a comment in the YouTube chat. I'll do my best to get an invite code out to you. And of course, wherever you are in the